Most men live with their eyes half closed. They stumble through life believing the world is ruled by fairness, by loyalty, by honor. They cling to illusions because illusions are comforting. But illusions do not protect you. Illusions bury you. The one who survives is the one who sees clearly that fear, envy, pride, hope, and ambition are the real chains that bind men. And the one who cheats learns how to turn those chains into weapons. Machiavelli warned that power is not about brute strength, nor about virtue, nor about ideals. Power belongs to those who understand appearances, who know that men are guided not by truth, but by perception, and that perception can be molded like clay. To cheat well is not to trick once, not to deceive in a single moment, but to live as if every gesture, every silence, every smile is calculated. To cheat is to stay ahead, always 2 moves beyond the eyes of those who believe the game is fair. Fear is the simplest chain. You do not even need to wield it openly. The rumor of punishment is often more effective than punishment itself. Men live in terror of what might come, and so they control themselves on your behalf. Pride is another leash. Men who think themselves clever can be guided into traps they believe they built themselves. Hope is the sweetest poison. It lulls men into obedience, promising rewards that never arrive, yet binding them tighter with every delay. And envy, that restless shadow, ensures that allies never unite, because each fears the rise of the other more than your own dominance. These are not physical weapons. They cannot be touched. But Machiavelli saw that the invisible weapons are the deadliest. Armies collapse not from swords, but from whispers. Merchants are ruined not by lack of goods, but by envy. Rulers fall not because their enemies are strong, but because their image falters. Florence gave him countless examples. A merchant who displayed his wealth too eagerly found rivals conspiring to strip him bare. A courtier who boasted too loudly of loyalty revealed himself as an opportunist, and no one trusted him again. A general who relied only on his visible strength was betrayed by whispers before the battle even began. None of these men fell because their enemies overpowered them. They fell because they misunderstood appearances. They left themselves unguarded against the invisible daggers of perception. The naive idealist trusts words of loyalty and is betrayed. The reckless schemer cheats too loudly and too often until vengeance destroys him. The coward hides his ambition so deeply that he becomes invisible and irrelevant. The opportunist cheats without discipline, winning scraps today, but destroying his future. Each of them fails for the same reason. They misunderstand that cheating is not an act of impulse, but a discipline, a craft. The cunning man cheats with elegance. He cheats time, striking before rivals even know the game has begun. He cheats appearances, showing weakness when strong and strength when weak. He cheats loyalty, making others dependent on him while he remains free of dependence on them. He cheats morality, wearing its mask so convincingly that men praise him even as he plans their destruction. Machiavelli admired Cesare Borgia, not for cruelty alone, but for making cruelty appear as necessity. Betrayal looked like wisdom in his hands. Deception looked like justice. His genius was not just in the act of cheating, but in making the world believe it was the natural order of things. This is the highest mastery, not to merely deceive, but to deceive so well that the lie is mistaken for truth itself. But the dangers are everywhere, and they kill the careless. Danger 1, exposing ambition without the strength to protect it. You invite rivals to unite against you. Danger 2, trusting in reputation, believing that past loyalty secures future safety. It never does. Danger 3, forgetting that envy never sleeps. Every display of fortune awakens silent enemies who wish to see you fall. Those who refuse to cheat are destroyed. Those who cheat poorly are destroyed even faster. Savonarola, the priest who believed purity was armor, revealed everything too openly. He deceived no one. He relied on virtue alone, and virtue consumed him. Fire turned him to ash. Because fire is the destiny of those who reveal their truth in a world ruled by deception. Cesare Borgia, by contrast, concealed ambition with masks. He deceived allies and enemies alike until his throne was secure. Men curse his ruthlessness, but they remember his name. Savonarola is remembered only as ashes. The world forgets the virtuous, but it fears the cunning, and fear ensures survival. Machiavelli's lesson is brutal, but clear. Power does not belong to the just, or the faithful, or the dreamers of fairness. Power belongs to the one who cheats, and cheats well. To cheat is to weaponize the blindness of others, to exploit what they already believe, to manipulate their illusions until they ruin themselves, and yet cheating is not about the moment. It is about the long game. The impatient man seeks victories today, and those victories destroy him tomorrow. The cunning man cheats not for applause, not for vanity, but for endurance. He plants illusions like seeds, and months or years later, they strangle his rivals. His victories are invisible until they are irreversible. This is why the master deceiver is always underestimated. His triumphs are too subtle, too slow, too quiet for ordinary men to recognize, until it is too late. The categories of error repeat across history, written in blood. The idealist refuses to cheat, and so he is consumed. The brute cheats without disguise, and men unite to resist him. The coward cheats only through silence, gaining nothing. The opportunist cheats wildly, collecting short victories that collapse into ruin. But the archetypes of mastery stand apart. The prince who cheats through timing, striking only when rivals are distracted or weak. The general who cheats through perception, making his army appear larger or smaller as the lie demands. The merchant who cheats through scarcity, inflaming desire until men beg to overpay. These are not crude tricks. They are disciplined strategies, calculated illusions honed into weapons. But the highest mastery lies not in actions, but in identity itself. To cheat at the level of action is survival. To cheat at the level of character is dominion. Men crave certainty. They want to believe they know the nature of their ruler, their general, their merchant. The cunning man gives them certainty, but only as a mask. He wears loyalty, generosity, humility, or piety as costumes. Behind them he hides calculation and cruelty. To cheat men with lies is victory. To cheat them with your very identity is supremacy. For once men believe your mask, they will not question your actions. They will defend your deceptions as if they were truths. The naive idealist refuses to wear a mask at all, and he perishes. The reckless schemer shifts masks too often, exposing inconsistency. The coward hides behind silence, erasing himself. The opportunist cheats without discipline, changing personas until he is despised. But the master builds an illusion so complete that men never see beyond it. He sculpts perception like stone cut with a chisel, and perception becomes a prison from which rivals cannot escape. A prince who appears merciful while secretly destroying enemies will be praised as just. A general who appears cautious while preparing ambushes will be praised as wise. A merchant who pretends to be poor while hoarding wealth will be envied rather than hated. The true genius of cheating is not in lies, but in constructing a false world so persuasive that men prefer it to reality. They walk willingly into their chains because they believe those chains are honor, loyalty, justice. Machiavelli warned of dangers here, too. Danger 1, believing virtue itself is enough. It never is. Danger 2, deceiving so crudely that your mask becomes obvious, turning admiration into distrust. Danger 3, clinging to one mask too tightly until it no longer fits and your true face is revealed. Savonarola wore purity as his only identity, and it destroyed him. Cesare Borgia shifted masks as needed. Merciful one day, ruthless the next. Pious when allies demanded it. Irreligious when freedom required it. His enemies never saw the man, only the mask. And by the time they suspected the truth, it was too late. The priest is remembered as a fool. The prince is remembered as a master. This is the first lesson, to cheat not just with actions, but with appearances, to wear masks so convincing that men submit not to you, but to the illusion you embody. Machiavelli strips away all comfort. Honesty does not protect you. Virtue does not triumph. Sincerity does not win loyalty. The only law is deception, wielded with artistry. To cheat well is to live beyond the reach of envy, suspicion, and resistance. To cheat well is to command men not only by fear or loyalty, but by illusions they cannot escape. To cheat well is to make survival not a matter of luck, but of calculation. And once deception becomes your nature, you are no longer playing the game. You are rewriting it. You are the architect of the very illusions men live and die by. This is why Machiavelli's wisdom endures, because it does not flatter. It cuts. It tells you not what men wish to hear, but what they already suspect in their darkest hours. That fairness is a lie, that virtue is weakness, that survival belongs to those who cheat without hesitation. So ask yourself, are you willing to wear the mask? Are you willing to soil your hands? Are you willing to bend appearances, to forge illusions, to deceive not once, but as a way of life? For those who refuse, ruin awaits. For those who accept, power endures. Always be ahead, even if you must cheat. Men like to believe their downfall comes from enemies, from betrayal, from accidents of fortune. But Machiavelli knew better. He saw that men destroy themselves not through lack of strength, but through blindness to the forces that truly shape the world. They worship virtue as if it were armor. They cling to honesty as if it were a shield. They pray to fortune as if she were merciful. And in doing so, they kneel willingly at the edge of ruin. The cunning man does not kneel. He cheats. He cheats men. He cheats appearances. He cheats systems. And finally, he cheats fortune itself. This is how he remains ahead, always untouchable, while others fall one by one into the graves they dug with their illusions. Deceiving men is dangerous. Deceiving appearances is powerful, but the greatest mastery lies in deceiving entire systems. For once the laws, the customs, the institutions themselves are bent, no rival can even name the deception before it is too late. Most rulers fail here. The idealist believes that institutions are sacred, that rules will protect him if he obeys. He does not notice that others are rewriting the rules while he plays by them. The reckless schemer attacks systems too openly, and in his haste awakens resistance before his power is secure. The coward hides within institutions, letting them crush him into irrelevance. The opportunist exploits systems only for scraps, never mastering them, and is eventually devoured by the very rules he thought he could use. But the cunning man moves differently. He cheats systems by reshaping them so subtly that men forget they were ever different. He cloaks tyranny in the language of liberty. He cloaks betrayal in the language of reform. He cloaks cruelty in the language of necessity. And men, desperate for familiar symbols, accept their chains as progress. In Florence, Machiavelli watched ambitious men seize power by brute force. They terrified their rivals, but they did not last. They were too obvious. Their deception ended at the point of a sword, but the ones who endured moved with silence. They infiltrated councils, courts, and churches. They placed allies where judges should have sat. They bribed priests to turn sermons into propaganda. They shifted the foundations of the city itself until their ambition and the state were indistinguishable. The weak call this corruption. Machiavelli called it foresight. To fail in this art is fatal. Danger 1, clinging to honesty while others write the rules. You become a prisoner in a game rigged against you. Danger 2, reshaping systems too quickly, awakening suspicion before your control is secure. Danger 3, underestimating envy within institutions themselves. Factions form like tumors, poisoning laws as swiftly as daggers pierce flesh. Savonarola made this mistake. He sought to purify the system with honesty, believing reform would shield him. Instead, the very councils he tried to cleanse consumed him. Cesare Borgia, by contrast, slipped his ambition into every corner of governance. He rewrote alliances, laws, and councils until Florence itself became his mask. One perished because he refused to cheat the system. The other endured because he made the system itself his disguise. History forgets the reformer. It remembers the manipulator. But even the man who cheats systems faces one last enemy: fortune. Machiavelli described fortune as a river, wild and unpredictable. Gentle one day, violent the next. Most men trust it, and when it floods, they drown. The naive idealist believes virtue will carry him through, but fortune devours him without mercy. The reckless schemer lunges at every opportunity, and fortune crushes him with the weight of his own haste. The coward resigns himself to fate and dies forgotten. The opportunist picks up only what fortune drops, forever beneath the one who seizes what is not yet visible. The cunning man cheats differently. He builds dams and diversions. He prepares exits no one sees. He stockpiles strength while others waste it. He cloaks ambition until the moment of strike. He appears weak until weakness itself becomes a trap. He cheats by building illusions so convincing that even when fortune turns against him, men still believe he holds her favor. This is the final art: to cheat fate itself. Fortune, as servant Cesare Borgia, embodied this law. Again and again fortune turned against him. His father died, his enemies rose, his allies betrayed, and yet he survived, not because fortune favored him, but because he cheated her. He turned misfortune into theater, using each disaster as an opportunity to appear stronger. He deceived men, he deceived systems, and in doing so, he deceived fortune itself, bending her chaos into his own order. The dangers of neglecting this law are absolute. Danger 1, trusting fortune to reward you. She will not. Danger 2, mistaking temporary success for permanence. Fortune turns faster than men expect. Danger 3, forgetting that envy, fear, and ambition do not sleep. Even fortune conspires against the unprepared. This is why most rulers vanish from history. They trusted chance, they trusted justice, they trusted fairness, and history erased them. Only those who cheated, fate endured. The cunning man cheats not with single lies, but with entire architectures of illusion. He cheats men by feeding their blindness. He cheats appearances by wearing masks. He cheats systems by bending laws and customs. He cheats fortune by preparing for storms before they arrive. And in doing so, he becomes untouchable. His rivals cannot pierce him, because they do not know where truth ends and deception begins. His enemies cannot unite, because envy divides them. His allies cannot betray him, because dependence chains them. His reputation cannot be shattered, because men believe in the mask more than the man. He does not play the game. He rewrites it. This is the law Machiavelli left for those who would rule, for those who would survive. Fairness is a mask. Honesty is a weakness. Virtue is a dagger you hand to your enemies. Survival belongs not to the pure, but to the cunning. History is not written by the just, but by the deceivers whose masks became reality. So the question becomes simple. Are you willing to accept this law? Are you willing to wear the mask? To cheat men, appearances, systems, and even fate itself? Or will you cling to illusions until envy, betrayal, and fortune consume you like so many others before you? Do not fool yourself. The world is not fair. The world is not just. The world rewards those who cheat better than the rest. If you have listened this far, you already feel the truth burning in your chest. A part of you knows fairness is a lie. A part of you knows survival requires deception. You can deny it and walk blindly into ruin, or you can accept it and rise. Machiavelli's final warning is this: to always be ahead, you must cheat not once, not occasionally, but endlessly, until deception becomes indistinguishable from breath, until your masks are no longer masks, but the reality men live and die by. The naive will curse you. The dreamers will despise you, but they will kneel before results, and results belong to the deceiver. So I ask you now, are you ready? Ready to abandon illusions? Ready to sharpen daggers while wearing the mask of virtue? Ready to cheat fate itself and stay ahead while others are devoured? If you are, then write it below. Say the words, I stay ahead. Let the dreamers watch. Let the naive protest. The cunning will understand. And remember, this was only the beginning. In the next lesson, we go deeper into strategies you have not yet imagined. Do not miss it. For in this world, only one law survives. Always be ahead, even if you must cheat.